week, you created 6 more scoring shots than them. Do you feel that's one you let slip tonight?
Yeah, that's part of the processing of it. Yeah, with the missed opportunities in our front end, and then just turned the ball over too blatantly and kicked it really poorly coming out of our back end, set up their momentum, set up their game for the first part. So I'm just really pleased with how the boys persevered and stayed in it. But, you know, it's another one of those ones where we drew level and plenty of time on the clock, and we weren't able to complete it. And so, you know, with the progress that we're making, these close games, you know, we feel like, you know, we know we need to be coming over the top and winning these ones, especially when the momentum's in our favour. It just seemed like whether it's a turnover or we've given away a free kick or just at those times when we were coming, just sapped a bit of energy here and there. So we went far away.
You worked so hard to get back into the game late. Do you feel like you spent your petrol tickets when they just were able to kick the last 2 or 3 there?
No, not necessarily. I mean, they obviously started chipping it around a bit, and, you know, the players were trying to get up, and the message, you know, to the players to make sure that we get up and take those uncontested marks off them, and it probably took us a bit too long at times to do that. But, you know, we had them pressed in our front end with scores level, and we had chances to at least hit the lead, and we didn't take them. And that would have been nice, you know, because it probably just gives you that different aspect where you're in front, and the game's a little bit, it's on different terms. And so no, I don't think there was a fatigue factor. I think both teams were probably feeling it a little bit at the end, but not one more than the other. It didn't appear.
Those turnovers for the back half were crucial in the first half. It was uncharacteristic. What did you put it down to?
Yeah, it was uncharacteristic, Pete. I don't know whether, you know, a little bit more confined space. I mean, they defended pretty well. I thought their pressure, you know, we were pumped up for how we absorbed pressure the previous week or two, and, you know, breaking tackles, just distributing the footy. You know, our tackle efficiency's been pretty good, but they won that side of it for most of the first half, and then we got better. We knew we had to. And, you know, you give the Cats credit for some of those turnovers, but gee, there were some uncharacteristic ones that we'd been better with. But it did happen on the goal. It did happen in Darwin against the Gold Coast too, so it's something we've got to sort out. Transitioning from deep in our defence, we've got players who really can run and use the footy, and every now and then you get a surprise or two. We just had too many early in this game.
And what was your approach with Bailey Smith? I mean, I know it's a lot made of it, it's just one player, but how did you attack it?
Well, I'd hazard a guess that they were looking forward to the game as much as us. You know, Thursday night, it was built up to be something, you know, a little bit unique. And, you know, I'd said during the week that we were playing well enough to make sure we tapped into what our strengths had been, and really, you know, with our midfield brigade and what they'd been able to produce different times in the first, 10 games that we'd played, you just back that in. And by and large, we did again tonight. It's just, I mean, I think their high half forwards came into the game, particularly Myers early, with some of those turnovers and the width plays they got off them, and that fueled a different sort of game for one or two of their others. But once we were able to get a handle on that and get it on our terms, I felt, you know, like Ed Richards and Marcus, Matt Kennedy, you know, they came into the game and just couldn't quite do enough.
It felt at the start the players were almost going silent treatment. We were expecting maybe fireworks. Was that directive from you to sort of just give them some space and not actually engage?
As I said, yeah, our strengths are probably, at the moment, if you're going to isolate, if you take the 3 lines, you'd say that our midfield line has probably been as influential as most midfields in the competition. So ultimately there can't be any diversion from what you need to produce with your strengths. And so, yeah, personalities didn't come into it. I didn't want us to be distracted. There's no use going out there and going over the top with a confrontational approach to something that we hadn't done previously. It wasn't going to help. And we assess things before the game every week, and we say, okay, this player here, that player there, they're probably going to get a bit of the ball. All right, we accept that. As long as their meters gain are low, as long as we get them in the right spots, that's going to help fuel our game. And so we were well aware of different things. And I think probably Holmes, more than anyone, did some pretty special things here and there. And obviously they're key forwards. You know, they kick 11 goals between them. And we couldn't diffuse those situations. We couldn't clear the ball from those one-on-one areas to resurrect the footy, and they got, you know, too many sort of tap-in goals from those long-range plays where we needed to be better of not letting it out the back. So too much score. What did we give them? 120 odd points. We didn't defend well.
How difficult was some of those umpiring decisions? I know it's difficult, but they did change the momentum. Dempsey kicks a goal, Cameron kicks a goal late.
He had a bounce on the full one. Critical part of the game, lots of eyes on it, but other than that, you know, as I always say, swings and roundabouts, they happen. So yeah, no one's sitting in our rooms thinking about the free kick differential, and no one's talking about it. It just happens here and there, but ultimately, well, they have VAR in the EPL. Well done to Ange too, winning the Europa. Unbelievable. What an amazing coach. Sorry, that's a diversion, but you know, it's just sensational. Let's get back to our game.
Take us through the incident with Kane Corns pre-game from your perspective and how that unfolded.
What incident?
Oh, you shared some words with Kane. It looked like you got quite close with him.
Ultimately, when we come in here and we talk about the game, I think that's probably all we're after, isn't it? If you're trying to drum up any controversy, I don't think there was any. So I've really got nothing to say.
Just the vision looks like you walked past each other and you shared some words. So I know you've had, you know, in the past you've been strong against Kane, and you know you might have even been left out of your rooms. You've locked him out of your rooms in the past.
I know what you're trying to do, Mitch. You're not going to get me to bite. We've got nothing else? Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.